Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of Fearless Tarot, How to Give a Positive Reading in Any Situation, which is due out from Llewellyn Books this October. And it's already available for pre-order on Amazon or Llewellyn Books or Barnes & Noble or wherever you get your books. And if you do enjoy my approach to tarot, you are going to love this book that I worked very hard on. It's time for this week's Oracle Reveal. So earlier today on Instagram, I placed up a photo of 3 different animals, and the animals were the whale, the hummingbird, and the bat. And I asked you to use your intuition and just ask yourself which animal is calling to you, because that animal has a message for you. For those of you who picked the whale, this card says, trust the great mystery. But whale's the record keeper. And sometimes when we're attracted to whale, it's about going within, going into our depth, and pulling up memories from the past of maybe when we were stronger, or even learning from our ancestors or from our collective past. For the first card for the whale people, it's where it's best to place your focus during this next week. And we have the gratitude card of the Ten of Cups. On the Ten of Cups, you see this family who's, in this house all the time. It's really small, it's in the distance. And they're so in the house that they're often not able to see their house, to see the blessing of it. And so what they've done is taken a walk up the road and they're looking at their house in perspective. And suddenly a rainbow comes out and the children are dancing. And so this card sometimes tells you that you might need to get some distance from the very blessings that are around you that you might be taking for granted at this time. And the Ten of Cups is telling you that when you affirm things through gratitude, you get more good things. And so this is just a wonderful card for connecting with what you're really grateful for at this time. And also just taking a step back and looking at your life and looking at everything that you have to be grateful for at this time in order to attract new blessings. The next card for the whale people is advice from their inner wisdom. And we get the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is a bit of the opposite of the Ten of Cups. The Knight of Swords is all about making his achievements, rushing ahead, doing everything. The Knight of Swords can sometimes be described as the cruel taskmaster that's within all of our own minds. And the horse is our physical body. And sometimes this card comes up when we need to be kinder to ourselves, when we need to nurture ourselves a little bit more. And sometimes, too, when we see that next to the cooperative card of the Ten of Cups, it could be a time of reconnecting and not be so driven or focused on a problem or a challenge that's in front of you, but remembering instead to connect with the people that you care about the most or communicate with them in a kind way. And then finally, we have a mythic archetype that's going to be helping the whale people this next week. And we got Hemera. She is the goddess of rebirth and renewal. Her name in Greek actually means day. So it's just a reminder that every day starts anew. Every day you can make new choices. Every day you get a reset. Every day you get a fresh start. And this is a time for you really to maybe calm down and maybe not stress out so much with that Knight of Swords, but to realize that there is a new opportunity right in front of you at this time to create the life that you want to live. And part of it starts on the foundation of being appreciative for the things that are already going well. So that is the message for whale people. Next, we're going to go into the Hummingbird Spirit. And this card says, be here now. And if you're attracted to hummingbird, it might be a time when you're really looking to find joy again. Sometimes hummingbird can also elevate moods through music or color or vibrancy. And so if you're feeling things are a little depressed or dull, or you're watching too much news right now, it might be time to turn it off and put on some music and let go of some of the stressful feelings as well. First card for hummingbird is where it's best to place their focus. And it's actually in the Temperance card, which is a card of healing. The angel of temperance is pouring 1 full cup of water into the empty cup. And this is saying that there's been one area for hummingbird that's been sucking up all the oxygen in their life right now, and instead they need to pour some of that energy into something that's been neglected, something that's been feeling empty, or something that needs reinforcement at this time. Temperance is also telling you to balance your practical concerns with your emotional needs. The angel of temperance has 1 foot in the water and then 1 foot on the dry land. The water is the emotional realm, the dry land is the practical realm. And so there's this balancing act that really needs to happen for the hummingbird people. If you've been too focused on the practical, this could say it's time to delve into more of that emotional aspect of your life at this time. And conversely, if you've been too emotional, if you've been too much in your feelings, it might be time to get to work and get to business and get things established or organized. Advice from your inner wisdom for the hummingbird people is another major arcana card of the Hierophant card. And the Hierophant guides you toward having faith and whatever it is that can establish security for you at this time. Sometimes this is a card of reconnecting with your higher self. And in fact, the Hierophant has the keys at the foot of his throne, which are a symbol of him unlocking those higher planes of knowledge. Sometimes the Hierophant too says that the things that are in front of you can just feel really heavy at this time. And you can't do it all by yourself. And so it's okay to pray. It's okay to ask for spiritual guidance or support from whatever your belief system is. But it's important to tend to the needs of your spirit at this time, especially with these two very spiritual major arcana cards. And then finally, the mythic archetype that's going to be helping the hummingbird people is Gaia, the Mother Earth. And she, in fact, guides you toward mothering or nurturing the part of you that really needs reinforcement at this time. And when I look at all three of these cards in concert, it could be just a time where you really want to mother or nurture the spiritual aspect of your life. Sometimes spiritual aspect doesn't even need to be religious. It can just be going out and enjoying a sunset, or taking a walk in the woods, or getting some perspective, or even just taking time to pray or connect to your center and to release some of your worries to the heavens. So that is going to be the message for the hummingbird people. And finally, we have the bat people, and this card says rebirth is assured. And bat is a symbol of rebirth. It's a symbol of death and then also rebirth. But it indicates that after every ending, there's always this new beginning. And the bat is a really transformative, shamanic totem, which is all about surviving that metaphorical death and then being reborn in a much deeper way. First card for bat people is where it's best to place your focus, and you got the world card. And when we see the world, it's always about completion. Things have come full circle. It's a card of graduation and initiation, and it's so perfect for that bat archetype as well, because this is going to be a time of culmination for you, and it is a really important time mentally where you're completing old circles or finishing old cycles so that you don't have to keep repeating them anymore. The world card is a card of mastery, and in fact, the woman on the world card has 2 wands instead of the magician's 1. She's mastered the energy of sending, and she's also mastered the energy of receiving. She's got a wand in both hands. And so this is a time, too, where it's okay to not only give the best of yourself, but also to accept help or to receive when you need it. Advice from your inner wisdom for the bat people is that this is going to be a more secure time for you coming up, especially on a financial worry level or money level. It's basically saying that you get some sort of reward or benefit or some sort of reassuring news. But it's also a card of wealth consciousness. And the woman on the 9 of Pentacles is in her wealthy garden. And she's got that falcon, which represents her focus. And she's training her focus on wealth consciousness. She's actually placed a hood on her falcon, and she's not allowing it to look at anything else that might be worrying her. Instead, she's zeroing in on what her goal is, and she's making that the focal point. And this is going to assure that more abundance follows her. And then she's also got that little snail on the bottom of the card, which I always like to point out, bottom corner. And the snail just represents sensitivity to your environment right now. So it could be a time to clean out the house, clear the energy, and really invest in your home space and help it reflect some sort of sense of wealth or wealth energy. Get rid of what you don't need anymore and take out the garbage, literally and metaphorically. And then finally, we have the mythic archetype that's going to help the bat people, and that's Pandora. She's the archetype who opens up the jar. Some people said the box, but it's actually a jar, and all the ills of mankind went out into the world. And what was left in the jar before everything escaped it was hope. And what this is showing is that even though we are facing some difficult times and some challenges and even some frightening things in our world at this time, there is still hope. And there will still be rebirth that is assured. So don't let your mind get too negative this next week. And finally, I would just like to thank all of our first responders, our nurses, our doctors, the people that are on the front lines at this time. You are all my heroes, and I do wish you the best, and I do show my gratitude for you. And for the rest of you, I hope you all stay safe and happy, and check in with me next week. Otherwise, I hope you all do take care.